Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're giving you our Week 12 fantasy football starts and sits for all three of the Thursday football games. That's right, it is Turkey Day football, and let's all agree that stuffing is the worst. That's right. We're here to help you make all the right decisions on who you should have in your lineup, who you need to keep out of your lineup, and who, if you make the wrong decision, is going to break your heart to start the week. Let's start this fantasy football podcast right meow.
Hit that turkey bowl. Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Football Upside. I am Justin. That is Kyle. Thanks for dropping by our Fantasy Football podcast and YouTube channel. We appreciate it.
Yep.
Hopefully the waiver wire was kind to you all. If you need a refresher on our waiver wire episode, you can definitely take a look at that in the description below and where Kyle is pointing as well. So we just dropped that yesterday. Definitely check it out. Today, we're hitting you with all three Thursday football games. I almost said Thursday night football games, just out of normal.
It's all day. There's like 1 hour break in the afternoon. So fit your eating in then, because you're not supposed to be traveling. You're not supposed to go anywhere. No. Basically, like, this is the one good thing that you're getting from COVID. So enjoy it. Yeah. Enjoy it.
Watch some football.
Do nothing but eat turkey, pass out, and watch football. Make sure you've chewed and swallowed the turkey before you pass out.
Do we throw a disclaimer up on the screen right now?
I'm always thinking in cautions.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. So, hey, you know what? If you like listening to a couple nincompoops talk about fantasy football, a game that doesn't matter in either respect, go ahead and click that like button, as well as subscribe so that you are notified, and the bell so that you're notified every time that we upload the podcast, because subscriptions don't matter if you don't click the bell. So make sure you click the bell. We are always asking, do you need assistance? Because we're here to help. And if you've been around for a little while, you know that we are always asking that, and we are always answering. If you post a question, we do our darndest to make sure that we get an answer to you before the games start. I mentioned last time, try not to throw a question up there a half hour before kickoff on Sundays, because that one may not get answered. Yeah. So, buyer beware there. But hey, let's dive in headlong into the shallow end and get through these Thursday games. We got a decent slate here heading up. We're going to start with Houston at Detroit, the classic turducken matchup, right? Or not turducken, but rather, it's the turducken game because it's got Detroit.
Yep.
All right. So I'm going to take Houston right off the top. I think that you could start Deshaun Watson. This is a mid-level matchup, but he's going to do just fine for you. It's not a terrible matchup, not a great matchup, but it's one where he should be able to exploit it. He is we like him. We think that he's a really smart QB, actually. To listen to him break down plays and what he's seeing on the field as it's coming about or happening is pretty interesting to see. But the guy who is in a smash spot is Duke Johnson. That's right. Mm-hmm. This is a great matchup. He's got the most fantasy points allowed to the running back this year as his matchup. So he's dealing with a situation where they better feature him. He should finish in the neighborhood of maybe back end RB1, I'm guessing. I think that you could probably rely on him turning into at least a running back 2 for you. So we're talking somewhere between 13 and 24. That, I think, is a great possibility for you. And so if you've got Duke Johnson, then you've got a really good chance of having that happen. Brandon Cooks and Will Fuller I think they're definite starts. This is a decent matchup. It's not a great matchup, but it's a pretty decent matchup for the two of them. They are killing it right now. They're just kind of back and forth, 1A, 1B on things. I did mention Randall Cobb as a flex possibility, but it looks like he does have a toe injury. So keep an eye on that one. Make sure that you're paying attention to what's happening. I don't care who the other wide receivers are. Randall Cobb's the last option. Don't go for anybody else. Don't run out there and start anybody else. As far as tight ends, Jordan Akins is a sit for me in pretty much any format, even multi-flex. The issue I want to bring up is that he has to be an option if you're just absolutely hurting. But this is a terrible matchup, actually, for the tight end. Akins did get some work last week. He got some decent targets, some high-quality targets last week. So there is a benefit with that. So there's a little bit of upside. The problem is that this is not a defense you want to face. So I avoid it. I'm avoiding it. All right. What do you got on Detroit?
Matthew Stafford, I'm going to put down as a start, but this is one where we really need a bounce back game from the Lions, which is a lot to say. Might be asking maybe for a little too much, but week 11, Kyle, the Lions didn't even get into the red zone.
Yeah.
Ugh. That was against the Panthers that had a backup QB. Granted, it's on the other side of the field, but still, you would think you'd be able to flip the field and get down a few more yards and be able to get into the end zone at least once. But, one good thing is he did not suffer any kind of setback from what we saw when it comes to that thumb injury he was going into that week with. So hopefully he is better. But
wait. Yeah, Matt Patricia still has a job, guys. I don't get it either. I'm looking around wondering. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Man. I don't get it either, man. But when it comes to running backs, I would only feel confident in starting one, and that's only if he clears the concussion protocol, and that is Deandre Swift. So this is a must start if he is available to start against this porous defense. Adrian Peterson, Kerryon Johnson, they just cancel each other out. So I do not like them in my lineup, even if Deandre Swift is out. So when it comes to wide receivers, I guess if you're desperate, you have Marvin Jones. But, man, he regressed from a really good week 10. He regressed a little bit. He got some yards, but he didn't get into the end zone. And I still don't think Kenny Galladay's ready yet, man. He's not even practicing at all last week. So I don't think with a quick turnaround, I don't think it's going to happen again. But there could be a saving grace here in this lineup. TJ Hawkinson.
Yep.
This could be nice. He's the one. This could be a top 5 potential.
It has been foretold.
Yep. Yes.
Wait. Write that down.
It has been decided. TJ Hawkinson. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Just put him in there. Just do it. If you have him, you're starting him.
Just see how it feels.
Yeah. Dip your toe in.
Yeah.
That's what I have on this matchup.
All right. Next matchup, we've got the Washington football team at the Dallas Cowboys. Standard turkey fare, right? This is not going to be, I think all the teams in the NFC East are 3 wins now. I think that's what it is now. So there's that.
So you
got a 3-win team. Yeah, 3-win team against a 3-win team. Winner of this is first in the division.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a tie thrown in there somewhere.
And you know what? They could probably lose the rest of the season and still win the division, whoever wins this game. That's entirely possible too. All right, so I'm going to take Washington here, and Alex Smith. This is actually a great matchup, believe it or not. This is a really good matchup, and it's a guy who needs a game to show that he's still able to play in this league. He's come back. He's not really.
Week 10 was good. Week 11 was not.
It was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it wasn't. Yeah, it was QB2 is what it was. It was QB2. Yep. So it was a QB2 or super flex. What you need right now is this great matchup and for him to actually capitalize. And he's going to do that through a few different players. And that's first primarily is going to be JD McKissick. He had his first game where he didn't score. The score didn't force them to have to use him repeatedly, right? They weren't so far out of it. They had to just keep throwing to the running back. So he wasn't game scripted in to the game. And as a result, he didn't get a whole lot of work. I don't know. Maybe the Dallas Cowboys are a little bit more high powered of an offense that would allow them to be game planned or game scripted in. As a result, maybe they race ahead, and Washington has to throw the ball a lot. So there you go. That's the upside that you have with McKissick. The next guy is Antonio Gibson. You got to fire him up for some upside touchdown potential. I think that's about what you're hoping for with him. There's not a whole lot out there right now. Terry McLaurin, you're not sitting him now, are you? I don't think so. He's quietly actually put together a solid season. He, I think, is like, I could be wrong, but he's somewhere in the neighborhood of like wide receiver 14, roughly. Depending on your league's scoring settings, he could be anywhere, truthfully.
Right.
But if you've
not
got
bad
him,
for what the quarterback's been throwing to him.
Yeah. If you've got him, you know what he's provided to you. It's been pretty consistent, actually. And then Logan Thomas, he's secretly putting up a solid last 4 weeks. Not this most recent, week, but the 3 weeks prior to that were pretty solid. So this last week was actually quite the bust. Wasn't Hayden Hurst bust, but it was a bust. But he gets a really bad defense that's only serviceable against the tight ends. So it's not a wonderful matchup, but I think that you can start him. He's got a lot of upside. There's not a whole lot of options in that offense. We've talked about that before. And so Logan Thomas is a startable asset.
Yep.
What do you have for the Cowboys?
Cowboys, Andy Dalton. I mean, you're going to start him if you're in a 2 QB or super flex. That's the only way you would start him. Washington football team is actually decent against opposing quarterbacks. So that is one thing. Temper your expectations on that.
Mm-hmm.
Running back, you're going to fire up Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, as long as he continues to get 20 plus touches, which he just got last week, I mean, he's going to be a high end running back too. It's just, he's not going to be that same top 5 running back. That's just not high.
Watch. That's going to be the last time he gets 20 plus touches.
Last week or this week?
Just last week will be the last week that he gets it.
Write that down.
Yeah. It's Mike McCarthy. It's Mike McCarthy.
It is. All right. Hey, Zeke. All right. You did too well. I need you to go ahead and come back a little bit.
No, yeah.
I don't want to run. I just want to throw.
That's Mike McCarthy.
Fire the pigskin.
Yeah. He only wants it's not so much that he's going to do anything. It's just the threat that he might use, or it's the insinuation that he might use the running back, right? To quote Dennis Reynolds from It's Always Sunny, it's the implication of a valuable running back. Not that he's going to do anything. It's just the implication.
Right. For wide receivers, Amari Cooper, I'll start him, but I mean, he is like, I believe he's leading the team in targets, or he's up there. But where are the touchdowns at? I mean, I feel like this is another year.
I think they're no longer in a hospital bed, but they're probably at home waiting for next year. That's where the touchdowns
It feels like
are.
we say this like every year now with Amari Cooper. I mean, granted, this has been a tough quarterback play after Dak Prescott. So I don't know.
That's my point.
Yeah, the touchdowns are just not there this year. But CeeDee Lamb, it's really tough to keep him out of your lineup right now. I mean, the guy is so dang talented. I don't know if you saw that touchdown catch that he had in the end zone. It's quite nice. It was turning, throwing his weight back, catching the ball, keeping it in. I mean, he's going to be a nice wide receiver 3 for you for the rest of the year. I just don't feel confident in starting Michael Gallup. It's just a lot of boomer bust. So I got him as my sit. Dalton Schultz, he made our waiver wire episode yesterday. So definitely check that out in the description below. Take a look at that one. I mean, it's one of those ones that you mentioned as well. You don't have that many options out there right now on the tight end waiver wire line. So, I mean, this isn't the greatest offense, but
no, but their playoff schedule is great. So
their playoff
really
schedule is great.
Yeah.
Yep. That was the hashtag analysis that you provided yesterday. So everybody check it out.
Yeah.
That's what I have on the Dallas Cowboys, man.
All right.
Looks like we have the Baltimore Ravens. It's the Thursday night football game. Baltimore Ravens against the Pittsburgh Steelers. What you got for the Ravens? Ooh.
All right. So Lamar Jackson, if you can, you have to find a way to sit him in this matchup. This is not going to turn out well for him in my mind. He's going to struggle a ton. This is the best defense pretty much across the board in the entire league. And this is defense versus defense in this game is really what it's going to boil down to. Gus Edwards, guess what? You are the starting running back and you have no more competition.
Come on down.
How'd that happen? Well, J.K. Dobbins and Mark Ingram both tested positive for COVID. They didn't just, get sat because they had somebody nearby test positive. No, Harbaugh has disclosed that they tested positive. They're out for a couple of weeks. Gus Edwards is that waiver wire pickup that we were talking about yesterday. So go get him if you don't have him. And if you do have him, you can start him here. I think I don't expect a whole lot, obviously. Right. But you do have the benefit of volume now that you did not before. Prior to that, I was saying just avoid all three because there was nothing you could do to figure it out. Like you would never be able to predict which one's going to have a decent day. Marquis Brown, I've heard everyone saying you should probably drop Hollywood out of his name. He doesn't deserve that anymore.
Goose egg last week, man.
Yep. We've been calling it. We've been saying it for a little while. He's a bust at this point. He's a flex at best for you this week. And I think that's even highly suspect. He is hurting from the fact that Lamar has a severe lack of production. And it's because a lot of teams are trying to turn him into a one-dimensional quarterback. And without a sufficient running game that's actually like concrete enough and you can rely on, there's no second real option coming out of that backfield. And so if they anticipate that it's a pass play and they're worried that he might run, they can sit a spy on him. And they've kind of figured that out. It's the same thing that happened to Colin Kaepernick and to RG3. Eventually they figured it out.
Yep.
And then the only other guy worth considering is Mark Andrews. I hope you have a better option this week, though, because this is a super tough matchup. And so Mark Andrews, if you don't have any other alternative, I guess you're starting him. But
yeah,
I would avoid it if I could. And I can't because I don't have him. So in anywhere. All right. So who do you have for Pittsburgh?
Speaking of a guy that if you can avoid, do it, because this is going to be a fringe quarterback one, and that's Ben Roethlisberger this week going against the Ravens. So that's why I just have him as a fringe quarterback one start. I mean, if that's all you have, that's what you're going to start. You're not going to pick up anybody else really out there. Yeah. But for running back, James Conner is a start, but I mean, he's actually kind of bringing you some low-end running back 2 value compared to, a lot of people thought it was going to be running back 1 value this year. And it's another one.
He was for like 5 weeks, right? And
he
then
was,
he had
and then
like another 5 weeks. It's like the tale of 2 seasons for him.
Yes.
And this was like, it was like his only bounce back game, or his only game in the second half that's been worth a start, really. Mm-hmm. I should have anticipated that because he was being started against me.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But I mean, it's one of those things where, once again, though, Benny Snell out there vulturing touchdowns away from James Conner. So that is something to keep an eye on, but you're still going to start him up even against this defense because, I mean, I think he's a startable player. But for wide receiver, I have 2 starts, Kyle, for wide receiver for the Steelers. So that means one guy's out, and you'll find out shortly. But my start is Deontay Johnson is definitely going to be started right now. 16 targets last week, Kyle. Is that good? I don't know. Is that good?
I think that's a high score.
High score. I think he broke it. It's going to be tough to kind of replicate that, but I mean, hey, 10 plus, that might not be out of the, question. You never know.
Yeah.
Big Ben loves throwing Deontay Johnson the ball, and he also loves throwing Chase Claypool. Big, he's fast. Let me know if you've heard of this before. The Steelers drafted a really good wide receiver. Have you heard of that?
No.
They're going to keep him for 4-5 years and then let him walk.
Let him go.
Just let him go, do their thing. But, I mean, he's been a solid wide receiver, too. I think he's going to be a solid wide receiver, too, for the rest of the season. He's already at 10 touchdowns for the season. Granted, 4 came in 1 game, but still, 6, that's not bad for a rookie. How
many times do they play the Jaguars and Seattle? Jeez.
Yeah. So what that meant was I have Juju as a sit. Everybody. He suffered a toe injury right at the end of the game. He was still kind of out there, but he's limping. I just don't see it this year anymore. I just don't think he's got enough juice left for some reason. But my other start, I do have Eric Ebron. Ebron's 8th amongst tight ends and targets. He's caught 3 touchdowns in the last 4 games. I think he can fall into another one. Total.
Not in each.
Oh, sorry. Total.
Yeah. Part of that, I think Vance McDonald got hurt in the game last week too. I don't know if he's actually out. I just know that he missed like from the second quarter on or something like that.
I gotcha. So definitely keep an eye on that with a quick turnaround. This could be even more of an Eric Ebron game. Granted, his snap percentage isn't always – it is a tough matchup, but snap percentage has never really been Eric Ebron's game because he's not much of a run blocker, but he may be asked to be out there a little bit more. So you might see him out there a little bit more, but like you just said, against this team, it's still tough. But in this tight end wasteland, try it.
Yeah.
See what happens.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for Thursday games. Not Thursday night, just the Thursday games. It's Turkey Day, right? All right. So if you got any questions, make sure you drop your comment below. We're always asking because we want to help you guys win that
championship.
And so we're going to get you there. Make sure you throw those questions below. We'll help you out. Also, make sure that you hit subscribe as well as the bell so you're notified every time we upload a podcast. We do that 5 days a week, actually, and we're going to do it 5 days this week as well. We're not going to cheapen it and give you one big episode this week like some podcasts do and then ignore you the remainder of the week, leave you on your own. Instead, we will continue to pay attention the whole time in case you have a question because we want to help you actually win. So we're going to go ahead and throw the waiver wire episode from this week as well as last week on the screen since you have that. And we thank you guys for being fans of the upside. We'll see you next time. Bye.
See you guys.